Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She started answering like a customer service bot. I'm just tired. Busy week. It's fine, Mark. One-word texts when she stayed late. Careful smiles that didn't reach anywhere real. I came in from an early run on a Tuesday, set my keys in the dish, and she was sitting at the table scrolling her phone, cereal soggy in the bowl, like she forgot to eat it. You good? I asked, leaning on the chair across from her. Just a phase, Jenna said, not even looking up. Don't make a thing out of nothing. If I'd known where that phase was headed, I'd have booked a one-way weekend and saved us both the show. I tried the adult route. That night I cooked salmon, nothing complicated, and we ate at the counter. I kept it simple. Jenna, I can feel you checking out. If I messed up, tell me. You're imagining. She took a sip of water, wiped a non-existent crumb from the counter. Stop reading into moods. Okay, then let's be practical. If work's burying you, I'll pick up more around here. If it's us, say it. She looked at me like I was pitching a warranty. It's temporary. Don't push. That was the first answer that wasn't an answer. I shelved it because I'm not 12. But I moved one chess piece on my side. I stopped filling in the dead air with affection she didn't respect. I let silence sit beside us like a third chair. 2 days later, I was packing a bag for a site visit. I'm a project manager. I live in calendars. Jenna breezed past me in a blazer she never wore anymore. You dressed for court? I asked. Dry light. She smirked. Funny. I have a lunch. With who? Coworkers, she said, eyes already on her phone. Don't wait up. I wasn't waiting up. I was leaving for Charlotte after lunch. I just nodded. She left her mug in the sink with coffee lines up the side like a fingerprint. I rinsed it out and filed that little habit in a folder called You're Not Alone in This House. On the drive, Cole called. We've been friends since high school. He runs a plumbing outfit and talks like a drill sergeant. You sound off, he said. She's on a phase. He laughed once. She said that. Word for word. Then you set a phase of your own, brother. Stop being the all-inclusive resort. Working on it. Work faster. That weekend we had a barbecue at Dana's place. My boss, sharp woman, doesn't miss a thing. Jenna wore that detached smile like makeup. In the yard, while I lit the grill, she walked over with a bottle of water and touched my arm like a stranger. You're quiet, she said. So are you, I told her. We match. She glanced around, saw people, and leaned in enough for me to smell her perfume. Don't start something here. No starting. I'm finishing something. Next week I'm shifting budgets. Your studio expenses go on your card. It's cleaner. Her eyes cut to me. You're kidding. No. Adulting. You want independence? I'm supportive. Dana came over just then with a plate. Burgers ready? In 5, I said. Jenna smiled at Dana and moved away, and if you didn't know her, you'd think we were fine. But that was my first boundary, quiet, public, and factual. That night, she asked if I'd lost my mind. I told her I'd found it. Are you punishing me? She said in the doorway. Punishment is messy. This is a line. Money, time, space, those are levers. We're going to use them like grown-ups. You're controlling. I'm consistent. She rolled her eyes and went to sleep facing the wall. I let it be. I didn't chase, didn't do the midnight "are you okay" speech. I set my alarm early and scheduled my week without assuming I was her chauffeur or her emotional sponge. Then she started going light on the calendar. Late meeting. Happy hour. Pilates. Socks draped over a chair for days. New dresses showing up that I didn't see on her body anywhere near me. One Friday I came home with pizza and she wasn't there. I checked the shared calendar. Blank. I texted you out? She answered an hour later. With Megan. Megan has a boyfriend who hates group events and a dog that needs medication at 6. She's not out on a Friday. I put the pizza in the fridge and did my laundry. That's initiative number 2. I took back my time. Saturday mornings used to be our grocery run. I went alone, no heads up, grabbed what I needed, and left the stuff she liked off the list. She raised an eyebrow at the missing almond creamer. They were out, I said. You went without me? Yep. Easier. A week after that, she tried kind. I was under the truck changing oil, and she came into the garage with a glass of sweet tea, set it by my elbow. Hey, she said softly. I'm sorry I've been distant. Work's been trash. I shouldn't dump it on you. I slid out, wiped my hands. All right. I'll do better. Cool. She waited for something longer, then kissed my cheek and went back inside. I drank the tea. It wasn't poison, it was strategy. Sunday she was normal. Monday she was back to, I'll be home late. When I didn't chase, she upped the volume in a different direction. She started making jokes at my expense. Not cute banter, little digs. We were at Cole's shop dropping off a pressure washer Jenna borrowed and never used. Cole was in the bay with his guy, and Jenna looked at me and said, "Don't worry, I'll teach Mark how to use a calendar one day. He still writes things on sticky notes." Cole barked a laugh, but it was the kind of laugh you give a customer who says something corny. I didn't perform. I looked at Cole. "Starting next week, I'm reworking evenings," I told him. "If we need to schedule that water heater, do it on my time, not ours." He got it immediately. "You got it." Tuesday 5. In the truck, Jenna folded her arms. "Did you just schedule something over dinner?" "Yep." "You didn't ask me." "Correct. You're being petty." "No," I said, calm as a ledger. "I'm adjusting to the phase." At home, she clattered around the kitchen to make sure I heard she was irritated. I stepped into my office and made another adjustment. 2 weeks out, I booked a fishing trip with Aaron from the gym. Jenna hates boats. I left a note on the fridge with dates and nothing else. She found it. "What's this? A schedule? You're being extreme. You told me not to make a thing out of it," I said, folding a shirt into my drawer. "So I'm not. I'm just not standing where I'm not wanted." She stared at me, then pivoted. Round 1 kind hadn't worked. Round 2 came in sugar. Wednesday, I came home to steaks, candles, her in a dress I hadn't seen in months. "I want to reset," she said, pouring wine. "I booked us brunch Sunday. My treat." "Okay. You don't look excited." "I'm not 12, I said. "But thank you." We ate. She kept the talk small. She laughed at my stories. She leaned into my arm on the couch afterward and asked about my week like we were just now catching up after 10 years. If I'd been stupid, I'd have called it a comeback. Instead, I made a mental note. Reset lasts until the next boundary. Thursday night, she took a long shower, came out humming, and was suddenly tired. I didn't comment. I finished my emails and set my alarm for the gym. Friday was the drop. She came in late, heels in hand, phone hot in her palm. I was at the sink, rinsing a glass. She went straight to the bedroom and tossed her bag onto the bed. "Big week with Megan?" I asked from the doorway. She didn't look up. "You keep tabs now. I keep calendars. Your part's blank." She scoffed, turned around, hair sticking to her shoulders. "You're smothering." "No," I said. "I'm awake." She held my stare, then seemed to make a decision. "Fine, you want honesty? I'm grabbing dinner tomorrow with Matt." "Matt?" I repeated. "That a restaurant or a person?" "Don't be a jerk. He's my ex. We're adults. It's just dinner." I waited a beat. "You're serious?" "Why wouldn't I be?" She spread her arms. "We're allowed to have histories, Mark. You're the one who made this house tense. Maybe talking to someone who knows me will help me figure it out." "Figure what out?" "Us. Me. The phase." She said the word like it was a seasonal allergy. I leaned on the doorframe. "You think that's a good idea? Why are you so controlling?" She raised her voice like she wanted the rafters to hear. "It's just dinner with an ex. God, satisfied?" Something cold clicked in my head like a switch. "Sorry," I said. "My mistake." She blinked. "What?" I misread the situation. I walked past her to the kitchen. The kettle was already out. I filled it and set it on. The little blue flame caught. I pulled a mug. Jenna followed me, frowning. "What are you doing?" "Making coffee." "You're so dramatic." "Probably." The kettle hissed. I took down the French press. "You should pick a place with good lighting. Reunions always look better under warm bulbs." "You're unbelievable." "Yep." She stood there waiting for me to swing, to argue, to beg. I didn't. I poured the water, pushed the plunger, and took the mug to my office. I set it on my desk, opened a drawer, and pulled out a roll of packing tape. In the bedroom, I took her weekend bags from the closet. I didn't overdo it. I packed exactly what she used when she left on girl trips. Jeans, 2 tops, shoes, makeup bag. Bathroom things went into a zipper pouch. I put her spare charger on top because I'm civilized. The wedding album stayed on the shelf. That's history, not luggage. While I worked, she hovered in the doorway like a referee who forgot the whistle. "What are you doing?" "Helping." "That's my stuff." "Correct." "Put it back." "No. You can't." "I can." I said. And I am. She tried laughing. This is unhinged. That word gets used for everything now, I said, putting the second bag by the door. You're going to dinner with a man you used to plan vacations with. You told me I'm controlling for asking a question. I corrected course. That's it. Where am I supposed to go? To dinner, evidently. This is my house too. It was. Tomorrow morning, the Locks will stop pretending they're suggestions. She stepped forward like she wanted to push me, then caught herself. You're not serious. Do you see me joking? She looked me up and down like she was searching for the old script. I picked up the bags and put them on the porch. I set her keys on top, the spare fob clipped to the ring. She charged back to the bedroom and slammed drawers like she could scare me into putting them back. I went to the hardware drawer, grabbed the rekey kit I'd bought during a storm a year ago, and set it on the counter. I finished my coffee slowly, called a locksmith anyway because time is money, and booked an early slot. She left an hour later in a hail of mutters and dramatic sighs, bags in hand. The front door closed. The air shifted. I washed my mug and took out the trash. The locksmith came at 9 the next morning. Middle-aged guy with a baseball cap, no questions. He swapped the guts of the lock, handed me the new keys, and was gone in 15 minutes. I slid one key on my ring and put the other in the safe with my passport. I texted Cole, if you hear noise at my place tonight, don't call anyone. It will pass. He sent back 3 question marks. I called him. She's meeting an ex for dinner, I said flatly. Oof. She'll find the porch very educational. Want backup? No. Save it for a beer. That's my guy. At 6, Jenna texted, going out. Don't wait up. The new lock sat in the door like a period at the end of a sentence. Around 10, the banging started. Not polite knocks, closed fist thuds you hear through the floorboards. I got up from the chair, stretched, and opened the door. Jenna was there, hair wind stiff, eyes thrown wide. What is this? She demanded, trying the handle again. A lock, I said, smiling like a host. It's a small machine that keeps doors shut. Don't be cute, she snapped. Let me in. Why are you so loud? I asked her pleasantly. It's just a divorce. Go to your ex. Her mouth opened. I closed the door and let the bolt sink. She kept pounding for 20 minutes. The neighbor's porch light clicked on. I brushed my teeth and slid into bed. The house was very quiet once the banging stopped. I slept like someone who finally put down a heavy bag. Morning, I made coffee and eggs, threw on jeans, and drove to the county building. Paperwork is not romance, it's boxes and dates. The clerk was efficient. I signed, paid, and walked out into a Saturday that looked like most Saturdays. Pickup trucks, soccer fields, people hauling groceries. My phone kept buzzing in my pocket like a beehive. I let it. I stop answering when adults start yelling. On the drive home, I took one call, Jenna's mother, Linda. She's a church volunteer type who switches to scolding on a dime. Mark, she started. How dare you throw Jenna out like garbage? She told me she was going to dinner with her ex, I said calmly. She raised her voice in my house about it. I gave her a bag and a door that works. You're overreacting, Linda said, but there was a gap in her voice like a missed step. I told her exactly what boundary she crossed. I didn't call you first, because you're not my mother. There was a long inhale, then a quieter voice. She said you were being controlling. I asked a question. She answered. I took action. If she wants back in, she'll need to respect basic respect. Silence. When Linda spoke again, the pitch changed. It wasn't scolding, it was human. I'm sorry, she said. This is not how we raised her. People raise themselves after 18, I answered. You don't owe me anything. I handle my end. If she comes by our place, that's your choice. I'm not hunting anyone down. We'll talk to her, she said. I'm sorry you're going through this. Thank you. I hung up and scrolled the other alerts. A storm of texts from Jenna. You'll regret this. I'm telling everyone you left. You cheated first, remember? I'm keeping the house. You'll pay for this. When threats start crowd surfing, I start ignoring. I let them pile up like junk mail. I answered one call, Jenna herself, because I wanted the record in my head to be clear. You are unbelievable, she opened. I will tell everyone you were seeing someone. I will tell them I left you. I will tell them you put your hands on me. I will. You're going to tell people a lot of stories. I cut in. Pick one at least. The audience is tired. You think you can do this to me and walk away clean? You walk to dinner, I said dry. I stayed home and organized. You'll lose everything, she said, and I could hear a stranger behind her. Maybe the ex, maybe just the echo of a restaurant. Jenna, I said, lowering my voice like a coach in the fourth quarter, you're writing checks in your head. The bank you're using is closed. She tried another angle. I made one mistake. Don't use that word. You made a choice. You made it loudly. I responded. That's the full story. You loved me. I respect me. I let that sit. She switched back to screaming. It's a noise that fills a car, even on speaker. I pulled into the driveway and parked. After a minute of her not breathing between threats, I pressed the red button and blocked the number. I blocked her on everything else. Not out of spite. Out of peace. I texted the group, Cole, Aaron, my cousin Mike. Told them what happened in 3 sentences. No qualifiers. Cole replied first, at the bar by 7. We're buying. I don't drink like a college kid, but I like a stool and a burger. I showered and went. The place was the kind with neon signs that have been there so long they look like furniture. Cole was at a high top with Mike and Aaron, talking with his hands. Here he is, Cole said, standing to slap my shoulder. You look empty in a good way. Travel light, I said, sitting. Aaron whistled. You really changed the locks? Yep. Mike shook his head. That's clean. We ordered food. They didn't pry with questions that require tears. They asked the kind you answer with facts. You filing Monday? Mike asked. Filed today, I said. Kept it simple. Cole lifted his glass. To simple. We ate, told safe stories. Then the door opened, and in walked Trouble wrapped in a red sweater, laughing with the bartender like she knew him since winter. She had brown hair to her shoulders, an easy smile, and the kind of posture that says she learned to be steady the hard way. She took a seat 2 stools down from me. Ordered ginger ale with lime. That caught my eye. Everyone in there had a bottle except her. Cole noticed me noticing. Don't, he warned under his breath with a grin. It's day 1. I'm not adopting a dog, I said. I'm making small talk. He shrugged. Your life. I shifted over a seat. She glanced at me once, then back at her glass. That lime's doing the heavy lifting, I said evenly. She smiled small. I like the idea of a drink without the maintenance. Smart idea. She turned fully. I'm Nora. Mark. You come here often? She smirked like she knew it was a cliché and didn't care. Only when I change a lock. She raised an eyebrow. That a hobby? Home improvement, I said. Major upgrades. Nora laughed. Not the loud kind. The real kind that sits in the chest. I'm guessing that's a story. Long, I said. Good, she said, sipping. I'm a nurse. I deal with short disasters all day. Long stories are easier. We talked. Not like teenagers. Like 2 people who have filed paperwork and buried a parent and paid their own bills. She didn't pry, and I didn't perform. She told me about early shifts, a brother in Oregon, a fixer-upper she'd bought. I told her about my morning runs, that I can tile a bathroom if you give me a Saturday and a podcast. She didn't flinch at silence. She let it breathe. Cole leaned in. We're headed out, he said, eyeing Nora. You good? I'm good, I said. Nora put a 20 on the bar for a $3 soda. I slid it back toward her. Let me buy your lime, I said. You don't have to. I want to. Then I'll get the next lime, she said, which is how sane people say see you again without writing it in the sky. I walked her to the door. It was cool out. She paused. You look like someone who just fired a cannon, she said. Something like that. How's your hearing? Improving. Good, she said. You'll need it. Life's noisy. We exchanged numbers the adult way. A text that said our names and nothing else. She left. I stood on the sidewalk and took a breath that wasn't a script. Sunday morning, I fixed a loose cabinet hinge and took the trash to the curb. Jenna's car didn't appear. Her text stayed blocked, which is what blocked means. I didn't hover by the window or post anything online. I sat with my coffee and made a list. Bank accounts, utilities, subscriptions. I split what needed splitting, canceled what didn't serve both of us, and sent one email to her new address with a clear subject line. Logistics. It had bullet points and dates. No threats. No feelings. Just the adult stuff that keeps a house from pretending it's fine. Monday, Dana called me into her office. You're focused, she said, looking at her screen. More than usual. Better sleep. She studied me. You don't have to overshare, but if you need time. I'm good. If anything, book me heavier. She tilted her head. That sounds like a man who took his hands off a steering wheel that wasn't attached to anything. Accurate. Then here, she slid a file across. Downtown retrofit. Tight deadline. We need a firm hand. That I can do. At lunch, Cole swung by with a sandwich. Jenna posted some nonsense, he said. Said she left you. She left the porch, I said. It tracks. You want me to say anything? No. Let people write their novels. We'll live our lives. Wise. That evening, around 6, there was polite knocking. Not the banging from before. I opened the door a crack. Jenna stood there, hair in a neat bun, eyes soft like a commercial for apologies. I want to talk, she said. Not to fight. 2 minutes, I said, stepping onto the porch and closing the door behind me. I was wrong to shout. She held her arms tight. I felt cornered. I didn't mean to make you feel disrespected. You did. I'm saying sorry. I hear you. I want to fix it. What does fix mean? I asked evenly. Start over. Go slow. I'll stop seeing people who complicate us. The word stop implies an ongoing action. She blinked. I'm not stupid, Jenna. Don't play me like a substitute teacher. I'm trying, Mark, she said, voice tremoring just enough to look human. I miss my house. I nodded. I miss my wife. I'm right here. No, I said. A person who sees me is right here. A person who keeps me on a bench until she makes up her mind lives somewhere else. Her face tightened. The softness hardened. You're throwing everything away over dinner. I'm throwing away disrespect. I'll tell everyone you're heartless. You don't have to. I'll tell them I'm sane. I can't believe you. She stepped back. You'll be alone. People who respect themselves are never alone for long. She stared like the old script might still cue a line. I opened the door, stepped inside, and let it close. The lock clicked. Second illusion of change collapsed just like the first. The week rolled. I did my job, lifted weights, answered texts from people who spoke like adults. Nora and I grabbed coffee on Wednesday between her shifts. She showed up in scrubs with a ponytail and a tired smile. You look like you fought a dragon, I said. Flu season, she said, blowing on her coffee. How's home improvement? Quieter. Good quiet. Necessary quiet. She nodded. Necessary is underrated. We talked about paint colors and whether you should sand a railing yourself or hire someone with lungs they don't value. She didn't ask for the story. I offered pieces. She listened without the little gasps people give when they want to guide you back to their moral. Friday afternoon, as I was loading lumber at the yard, my phone pinged with a message from a mutual friend. Heads up, Jen is saying you lost it. I replied with a thumbs up and nothing else. Saturday, I drove to the lake at dawn, met Aaron, and we fished in a fog the color of dishwater. We didn't solve anything. We didn't need to. That night, I came home to a mailbox stuffed with junk flyers and one handwritten envelope addressed to me. No return address. I opened it in the kitchen. It was from Jenna. 3 pages of circular logic. You didn't fight for me. You made me feel trapped. I only wanted clarity. You pushed me away. No apology, just rearranged blame. At the bottom, a line. We can meet next week to talk terms. Terms. Like she was negotiating a lease. I wrote one sentence on a scrap of paper and stuck it to the letter with a magnet. Terms. Respect. Too late. Then I shredded the letter because I keep my kitchen free of narratives that don't pay rent. Sunday morning, I changed the code on the garage and moved boxes with her holiday decorations into the shed. I labeled them. I'm not cruel. I'm organized. Monday, the paperwork moved through whatever slow machine it moves through. I didn't obsess. I booked a weekend to fix my brother's deck. I sat on the porch with coffee and talked to Nora on the phone about nothing. It felt like the first decent show I'd watched in years. No laugh track, no jump scares, just people doing things. Word got around. At the gym, a guy from my 6 a.m. class asked, too friendly, you and Jenna good? We're better, I said. Which was true in the way a healed bone is better than a break that never sets. 2 weeks later, Jenna's cousin emailed me a list of items Jenna wanted. I boxed them. I set them on the porch the day and time we agreed. I didn't wait by the window. Cole sat with me in the garage, pretending to take inventory of wrenches. She'll come, he said. Of course. She'll make a scene. She already did. Last week. Last month. I'm not offering a stage. A car pulled up. A man got out who wasn't me. Sturdy, expensive haircut. Jenna stayed in the passenger seat. He walked to the porch, picked up the boxes, nodded at the house like a tourist at a landmark, and left. She didn't step onto my property. The scene never happened. Sometimes the world gives you a small mercy to go with a large truth. By the end of the month, the joint bills were separated, the utilities were in my name alone, and the house felt like it had lungs again. Nora came by one Sunday with drop cloths and said, "We're painting your office." That beige is a mood I don't endorse. "You're bossy," I said. "I'm useful," she replied, tying her hair up. We painted. She wasn't flirty. She was efficient and funny and used a fan of swatches like a soldier uses a map. Around noon, she stood back and assessed. "Better," she said. "Much." She wiped her hands and looked at me. "You ready to say the thing out loud?" "What thing?" "That you did the right thing." "I don't need an award." "Not an award," she said. "Just the correct label. You called something what it was and answered like an adult. You can say that plain." I nodded. "All right. I did the right thing. See? Didn't hurt." "No." "Good. Now help me move this desk before the paint dries." We did. After she left, the house didn't echo. It held sound like it was supposed to. In the months that followed, I stopped looking at my front door like a threat. The lawn looked better than it had in years. I bought a used SUV with enough room for lumber without folding down the seats. Work kept me sharp. Dana put me on 2 more projects that needed a steady hand. I answered my phone when it rang and ignored it when it didn't deserve an answer. Nora and I took that fishing trip I'd booked with Aaron, and she didn't complain once about the early hour. She laughed at the dumb jokes. She beat me at a game of darts, and I didn't pretend to let her win. When she met my friends, Cole said later, "She talks like a grown-up," which is his way of saying she doesn't make you smaller. We married a year later, nothing massive, just our people in a small venue with music from a speaker and barbecue on paper plates. I looked around at faces that weren't pretending. I looked at Nora, who never once asked me to audition for my position in my own life. We bought a house with a workshop out back and a maple that throws good shade. On Saturdays, she sits on the porch with coffee and I sand a table, and the world hums along without needing translation. I hear bits about Jenna through the grapevine. I don't hunt them. They find you. The ex didn't turn into a partner. They had a messy on-again, off-again routine that ate a year. She moved twice. She posted a picture with a caption about new beginnings 3 times in 6 months. That's the thing about beginnings. They come cheap if you never buy the ending. Every now and then, I think about that Friday night in my kitchen, the kettle humming while she rehearsed her script, and the 2 words I picked. "Sorry, my mistake." That was the cleanest move I ever made. No noise. No speech. Just the final answer to a question I should have asked sooner. Where does my respect live? It lives where the lock clicks for me, not against me. It lives where dinner doesn't come with an audition. It lives where "it's just a phase" is something you say about the moon, not a marriage. And if anyone asks for a summary, I give them the line I gave her on the porch, just without the smile. "Why are you so loud?" "It's just a divorce."